Please join us in welcoming the foremost advocate for secular democracy in Iran and a symbol of hope for millions of Iranians at home and abroad, our keynote speaker, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please. Can you hear me okay? Good. Not breaking with tradition and going over time, I plan to go a little bit over time with my timed speech. So before I start my formal speech, let me say a few words and a couple of comments based on what we heard today. First and foremost, I'm so glad to see familiar faces in this room, some of whom I've known for nearly half a century. There's at least one person in this room whom I have known for more than half a century, who was at the time our athletic and sports teacher, world-renowned. I'd like him to stand up and be recognized, Dr. Iraj Ahrabi-Fard. And of course, during the course of the past 4 decades, I've come to know so many other faces who are also here today. But I'd like to emphasize the importance of the new faces we see today. And boy, do we need more of you, especially the representatives of today's generation. You know, when I was in Munich, I kept thinking, how many more times do I have my cheeks and my shoulders wet with the tears of grieving mothers and people who were shot in the face during the Mahsa revolution? Enough of that. We need to put an end to that. And the Gen Z of Iran today represents our hope for the future. And by the way, I want to start calling them the Gen V, because they are the ones. Now, on the issue that was discussed about the events that happened today, you know, we spoke about Ronald Reagan. One thing I remember from his doctrine was trust but verify. On the other hand, you have a regime who basically believes in the principle of taqiyya, which means a way to disguise your true intentions by openly lying about your true intentions. And when it comes to IAEA verification, never mind verify. Can you trust them to begin with? And how much more time will be wasted as a result, depriving an opportunity for the Iranian people to liberate themselves, and yet more tears shed for more victims. That needs to be fully understood. And I specifically am addressing analysts, members of the media, lawmakers, and decision makers. You need to realize that there's been enough time for this regime to show its true intentions, and we know it's certainly not good, it's only evil. And hopefully, we who represent the alternative will prove to the world that rather than getting this regime more opportunities to blackmail governments by taking hostages to barter them for their own existence, we need to put an end to all of that. So this is an opportunity not to be missed. That's why we're here today. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and dear compatriots, I am pleased to once again join Mufti at the Iran conference. Over the past 4 years, this conference has become more than just an annual event. It has become the leading forum to discuss and debate Iran, Iran policy, and our nation's future. 4 years ago, you set out on this path, and in the years since, you have altered the conversation in Washington to finally give our people a voice. You are forging unity within the Iranian diaspora. I am proud to stand along you, and I look forward to continuing our collaboration in the critical months and years ahead. Our mission is urgent, but it is not without direction. I have outlined a clear strategy, 5 points that together chart the path from tyranny to freedom. First, maximum pressure on the Islamic Republic. This regime thrives on impunity and on the silence of the world. We must ensure that the world never forgets the crimes of this regime, from executions and torture to corruption and theft on a national scale. Second, maximum support for the Iranian people. Our people must know that while they fight, they do not fight alone, that the world stands with them, that they can count on the diaspora to advocate for their rights. Third, maximum defections from the regime. Every Iranian who withdraws their support from this system brings us closer to freedom. Whether they are in government, the military, or the bureaucracy, we encourage them to choose the nation over the occupiers. Fourth, maximum mobilization and organization of activists inside and outside the country. Our struggle requires discipline, coordination, and solidarity. The Islamic Republic wants to divide and discourage us. We must do the opposite. We must unite, mobilize, and persevere. And fifth, a plan for prosperity after the fall of the regime, the Iran Prosperity Project. This project is not a slogan. It is a blueprint for rebuilding Iran after liberation, so that when the day comes, we are prepared. Last week, my delegation of experts traveled to Israel. They met with President Isaac Herzog, Minister of Science, Innovation and Technology, Gila Gamliel, and the top Israeli scientists to not only address Iran's water, electricity, and economic crises, but lay the groundwork for the Cyrus Accords between Israel and a free, democratic, and prosperous Iran. These 5 points reinforce one another. Pressure weakens the regime, support empowers the people, defection hastens the end, mobilization builds strength, and planning ensures that victory leads to a new day for our nation. To bring this vision to life, allow me to expand on 2 pillars that are essential to our success: maximum pressure and maximum support. On maximum support, I want to recognize the tremendous work Nufti has done in this area. The Maximum Support booklet provided practical tools for policymakers, journalists, and citizens across the free world to stand with the Iranian people. And a 15-point policy plan developed for Western lawmakers has given friends of Iran in Washington, Brussels, Ottawa, and beyond concrete steps that can take to isolate the regime and empower our people. These are not just documents. They are instruments of action that together we have used to shape real policy change in the corridors of power. On maximum pressure, over the past year, I have traveled to capitals across the West, from London to Paris and beyond, making the case for stronger action against the Islamic Republic. These diplomatic efforts are yielding results. In the United Kingdom, we are closer than ever to formal proscription of the IRGC as a terrorist organization. In Australia, the IRGC has now been officially listed and the regime's ambassador expelled. These are important victories. Each sanction, each expulsion, each designation tightens the noose around the regime, raises its cost of survival, and signals to our people that the world is not just listening, but acting. On maximum defections, my team has taken unprecedented steps to offer an off-ramp to those officials and affiliates of the regime who wish to stand with the people. Tens of thousands of Iranians across the armed forces, bureaucracy, and state apparatus have joined the defection platform we launched this summer. They have accepted the call to defy the regime and join the nation. These brave, patriotic men and women are already taking actions that are bringing us closer to victory. On maximum mobilization, this summer in Munich, I hosted the Convention of National Cooperation to Save Iran, an unprecedented moment in our movement's history. More than 500 activists and opposition groups from across Iran's diverse cultural, religious, and political spectrum convened, connected in a bold declaration of unity and purpose, a clear signal that this struggle is no longer defined by the past, but the shared future we are building. This unity was not symbolic, it was practical and strategic. It demonstrated that the democratic opposition is organized, inclusive, and capable of preparing for transition. It showed that Iranians from every walk of life are ready to work together to build a post-Islamic Republic future based on these core principles: commitment to Iran's territorial integrity, the individual rights and equality of citizens, the separation of religion and state, and the inalienable right of the Iranian people to choose their future form of democracy. Munich was only the beginning. I once again extend my hand and invite all those who agree to these principles to join us in this campaign. Last year, at this very conference, I announced the Iranian Prosperity Project, or IPP. It was a vision, a promise to the people of Iran that we would be ready the first day after the fall of this regime. We've made remarkable progress in a year. We convened the first Iranian Prosperity Project conference, bringing together experts and patriots from across the world to focus on Iran's future. At that gathering, we released the first 6 policy papers, concrete practical proposals on how to rebuild vital institutions, stabilize the economy, and begin the process of national recovery. Then we unveiled the emergency phase booklet, a vital document that outlines what must be done in the critical first months after the regime collapses. From ensuring basic services, to stabilize the currency, to restoring law and order, this emergency plan will help prevent chaos and ensure a smooth transition. And perhaps most importantly, we launched a public comment period. For the first time in modern Iranian history, a project of this scale and importance has been opened to every Iranian for review, input, and critique. More than 6,000 have participated so far. This level of transparency is unprecedented. It reflects our belief that the future of Iran belongs not to one person or one group, but to the Iranian nation as a whole. In the coming months, more work will be done. The plan will evolve through debates, feedback, and dialogue. And when the day of freedom arrives, we will already have in the hand the framework needed to restore order and launch a new era of prosperity. This is how we ensure that the sacrifices of today's brave Iranians are not wasted. This is how we honor those who have fallen in the struggle. And this is how we demonstrate to the world that Iran is not like the failed experiments of the past, but a strong, proud nation rooted in 2,500 years of greatness, ready to return to its rightful place among the nations. My friends, many people in Iran and around the world have been asking whether the regime has weathered the latest storm, whether despite the devastating blows it has suffered, it will be able to regroup and survive. My answer to this is no. We are past this point. The only question is when and how it will fall and what will come next. The regime is weak and divided. It is turning on itself and fragmenting, and thousands of its leaders and personnel in the security services are offering to defect. Its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, have their backs to the wall. Assad has fallen. It is more isolated internationally than at any point in recent history. The Iranian people are bravely challenging its rule. Across the country, growing bolder every day. The opposition is more united and determined. Munich showed this, and we have a clear plan and organization. But I want to be clear. While the regime is weak and vulnerable, it will only finally fall if the Iranian people rise up once again. They know the future of Iran is in their hands. My job, with many of you here today, is to make sure the conditions for success are stacked in their favor, and to ensure we have a clear plan for the transition to democracy and economic recovery. I feel optimistic we will succeed, but not complacent. We need to be disciplined and determined. I pledge to fight shoulder to shoulder with all of you until Iran is finally free. Thank you. May God bless the people of Iran, and may freedom soon bless our homeland. Thank you very much.